Hey guys, welcome back for another episode. Today I'm joined by Stefano Rinaldo talking about expressing yourself as a vegan through calisthenics, proving people wrong and defending animals. Stefano is a calisthenics coach. He's present on Instagram. He's also got a Facebook group where he teaches bodyweight training. So Stefano, thank you for joining. I can see there on your face you have a tattoo that says Animal Defender, right?
Yeah, you see it?
Animal rights. So we'll talk a little bit about this. But first of all, maybe a bit of your background.
So thanks for having me, Patrick, first of all. And I'm Italian. I'm Italian, but I've been traveling a lot. Like 18, I left Italy and I've been living in London, Edinburgh, so UK. And now I'm in Spain and I'm planning to settle here in south of Spain in Malaga.
Is your surname Italian as well?
Yeah, I'm fully Italian, super Italian.
Talk about what made you come to England, actually. That's interesting to hear. What made you make the trip?
I think I had a desire of new experiences. Like since forever, I kind of didn't like how the system works, where people just getting a job they don't like and then living a life they don't like, staying in the same city, getting married, and just everything that was around me was something that I didn't like. And so when I first left north of Italy to go work in an island to be a bartender, and that was my first way of having a new experience, I talked with some people there and I saw the opportunity to go and have a different experience in the UK. I wanted to go London first, but then they told me London is going to be super crazy expensive. So I went to Edinburgh first.
Looking at your Instagram posts, you're incredibly strong. At this point, when you came to England, were you already into calisthenics or did this begin later on in your life?
I've always been into fitness. Like I've done karate and martial arts as a kid, and then at 16 years old, earlier than that, at 14 years old, I was watching some videos, who was it? Jeff Said, Z's, Calisthenics, Bar Brothers, Hannibal for King. So these people is all people that, either was a fitness influencer then or was into calisthenics. And I wanted to do that. I was also not I was always the different one. I've been bullied at school as well. So I needed to find my direction. And so that's why I started fitness early on. And it did. It made me feel stronger, look better. So actually people started to respect me more. Girls attract me. But then calisthenics, yes, I actually met calisthenics specifically in London. I met calisthenics in London. I had a problem with the lower back coming from many years of bartending, but also some exercises at the gym, not with proper technique, where I was inexperienced. And that's one of the reasons why I would say to any beginner right now that just invest in a personal trainer. Don't go by yourself, because so many details that you don't understand, because there's so much to understand in strength training. But yeah, so I had this back pain for almost a year. I struggled with it. I couldn't keep up with training. My fitness level went down. And those guys that I told you inspired me to start training before, they were actually kind of doing street workout. It wasn't calisthenics, it was street workout. And so I had already this mixed knowledge between like weights and body weight. And because with my back pain was impossible to actually work out with weights, after 1 year of struggling and doctors telling me that I couldn't do anything, but I wasn't happy with that. I really needed to work out. So I said, okay, let's just try and just do body weight. Just do pull-ups, do push-ups, and, abs. And let's see what happens. And luckily there in London is a huge calisthenics community. And so I saw this guy doing calisthenics skills, like planche, front lever, muscle-ups, handstand push-ups. And I was like, I like that. I like that. Also, another thing that I loved about calisthenics that got me into it is the fact that, as I said before, I was always into sport. So skill-based activity. And the gym, even though I loved it for the result it gave me, the way it made me feel, it got, it started to get boring at a certain point, because also I built muscle. I was happy with my body, and it just got boring. So calisthenics also gave me that sparkle again towards training. It's like more stimulated to work out, because you need more skill. You're learning different exercises. It's not always the same. As you get stronger, you learn different things. So this is how I got into calisthenics.
London is well known for Primrose Hill. Was this where you were training?
I've been there, actually. I've been in Primrose Hill to work out, but my favorite calisthenics park in London is called Royal Oak.
Okay, yeah, I know this one.
Yeah.
And when were you in London? In which year?
I'm very bad with dates, but about 2013, 2014 is when I left Italy to go Edinburgh, and I've been living in the UK for about 5 years, probably six years in total, I think.
How old are you now?
29.
29, okay. 1 year older than me.
Am I? Cool.
And when you were in London, were you already vegan, or have you been vegan your whole life?
Oh, no, definitely not been vegan my whole life. But there's been a part of the last part of my life in London, I was vegan. Well, I wasn't vegan, really. I was plant-based. Even though I was really the famous 99.9% vegan, but I wasn't even like eating animal products when I was eating out. It was only for New Year's Eve. It's crazy. But the reason why, though, and I definitely want the listeners to understand this, is I wasn't motivated from the ethics of it. I was very disconnected. I would say, like, I was very speciesist, and really seeing animals like cows, chickens, and pigs as products. They are there because they are food. That was very installed into my brain. And I didn't question it. So how did I go plant-based? I went plant-based through some documentary about environment. And so for me, it was shocking enough, like making that connection for me was shocking enough to basically be vegan, because as I said, I was basically eating only once per year fish. And I did it because was the only, not even fish, but prawns, mussels, and these things. It was the things that I really liked the taste. And I was like, I can do it once per year, But now that I have connected with the ethics, with the fact that, animals are individuals and they are not different than us. Their experience is just a small person living his or her life. I realized that even eating that prawn it's not okay. It's not enough. It's not enough. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot behind this process of being vegan.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as well. I was also doing it for a different reason, initially for 2 years, just for health reasons. So I wasn't really understanding what veganism actually means. So even when people are asking me, I've never seen you eat any animal products, I'll just say, yeah, but I'm not vegan, I'm just plant-based, because I thought it's like a cult or a religion, because on social media, his negative perception. So I don't want to be associated with something like a religion,
Yeah.
but then...
like, I understand the negative perceptions that people can have towards veganism, because it's such an extreme change. But I must say, I must add to my kind of journey to go vegan, is that I've never had a closed minded towards the new information. So as I said, I was really brainwashed by the system. Okay. And it's probably because when I was a kid, my neighborhood had family farms, right? So everyone had their own animals and they were in cages. I had once we went to another house and the dad of the family killed a pig in front of me. I don't know why I did that, because now I don't remember exactly, but I think he basically did it to make me watch, And I now think that's pretty weird behavior. And I remember I was distressed from that experience, but but because I then saw chickens sometimes being killed and rabbits being killed sometimes, I guess, I was really disconnected and brainwashed. And that's why I never questioned it, because I saw it as a natural thing. But then when I listened to activists, like Joy Armstrong was the one that motivated me the most, or better, made me connect. I just needed a few words, I just needed him to tell me through YouTube videos, of course, that, animals are individuals, they're like small person, with hair, and they don't communicate just because they don't have words, they don't speak our language. That's why we kind of decide for them, because we feel entitled to do. But the reality is that what's happening to them is pretty bad. It's horrible, that they need to live in cages and they need to put in boxes and waiting for their death, because they're intelligent. That's another thing, that I realized pretty soon. They're super intelligent, and yes, so there's so much information right now. Again, if I go back, when I went vegan for the environment, which is, I'm not good with it, like 5 years ago, let's say, I already had this feeling of, man, like, I understand why this is happening and why people is not vegan. It's because this information before wasn't available. Now that's available, everyone is going to go vegan, but that's not the case. And this is where I lose my kind of connection with people, because I really don't understand where they come, where some excuses towards veganism come from, because I've never thought that way. So, but yeah, hope I made a point.
People just like to find a reason, because ultimately I think people just like the taste, and they try to do some mental gymnastics. And yeah, my granddad, he also killed a pig in front of me when I was a kid, and my parents said it's the circle of life. It traumatized me as well. And then I just sort of put it to the side and then forgot about it for many years, until I also discovered people such as Joey Armstrong. Did you discover this when you were still in London?
So this was towards the end, just before COVID. And I mean, this is for sure, people it's not open to information because they are so overwhelmed already from life. That's for sure. And in fact, both of my stepping up in my knowledge happened in some quiet time. The environmental thing was during a trip in Asia, and then this one, the connection with the ethics and empathize more with animals as individuals, happened during COVID. So I was a personal trainer in London. COVID hit, gym closed, and so I lose my clients, and I didn't have money to stay in London. So I moved to Italy in a holiday house that we have in the south, and yeah, like, I started to work on my online business, right? Because I wanted to be a coach. So COVID hit, and the only possibility was creating everything online. And as I build it and I learn more about marketing and how to create a community and attract people to me, the right people, I already wanted to work with vegans. And because of that, I started to look around. It's like, okay, what are the activists doing, right? So what's the vegan movement doing? Because as I said, like, after watching Cowspiracy, I didn't do much else. Actually, I was looking for how fucked up is the world in terms of pollution. So all the polluted rivers and wastes in the ocean, all of these things. But when I start looking for what vegan activists were doing, I find out that, they talk about animals and what happens to animals. So yeah, that moment is where I discovered Joey Armstrong.
The switch flipped in your head and you found awareness for the animals as well, which is great.
I think it was more than that. Like in that moment, I wanted to be an activist. It happened. It happened all together because I always wanted. This is something I always had in me, sharing the knowledge that I have and making some positive changes to the people that I meet and I know. But and I did want people to be vegan for the environment as well, because I think it was just shocking what's happening to the environment, and I don't know why people is not shocked. I don't understand. but yeah, so when I was vegan for the environment, there are many points that people can make against it, and it's true. Like, you don't have to be vegan for the environment. You should be plant-based for sure, but vegan, no. I was just the reason why I was basically vegan, as we said before, I was having animal products once per year. But the reason why I was so strict as a vegan for the environment is because I'm always being, fuck the system guy, and I didn't want to be part with that system. It's like they lied to me, and all of them are going to be lying to me somehow. So I just eliminate that. I didn't look for sustainable stuff. I just thought the whole system is fucked, and I don't want to be part of it.
Rather than do all these little measures.
Yeah. So and what happened when I then find out about, well, not find out, more like connected to the suffering of animals and the injustice that's behind it. Because of course I was already basically vegan, and I already knew that's not necessary to consume animal products, because I tried it on me for a long time. And so I didn't see any loophole there. Like, everything was so clear. That's just the right thing to do. You cannot argue with that. And that's what really motivated me to be an activist as well.
I can see your tattoo. Is this a new tattoo that you've got? Other side. Oh, yeah. Oh, you got two.
Yeah, actually. That's the first one, because, as I said, like, while I was there, and things were happening inside of me, like, I had a very emotional response in the beginning, and I wanted to be an activist. And there was Anonymous for the Voiceless, which is a big group organization that does animal rights activists. They probably it. They show slaughterhouse footage and what's happening in animal farming, and they have conversation with people about what's happening, and promoting the vegan diet not to be the cause of animal suffering. And in Milan, close to my city, I'm from Naples, but my house is in Milan now. And so across my city, there was a group, and I wanted to participate, but I knew that that was going to be my life path. That's what I want to do. So before my first event with Anonymous for the Voiceless, and it was a bit rushed as well, because I didn't have much time to organize the tattoo and everything, but I really, really wanted to get this tattoo before my first event, because like, I had to wait a few months before actually do my first animal rights event, because when I was in this holiday house, after COVID, it was in the south of Italy, in a small village in an island, and I wasn't going to put myself out there doing animal rights activism, no experience, and by myself, because I don't think there is any vegan there. But yeah, so that was my commitment to myself. I think that was a commitment to myself that I did, because wherever I go, like, people know I'm vegan.
And now that you've got a little bit more confidence, do you spark up conversations in the street, or do you keep it reserved? Do you try and promote it as much as you can, or is it just during the specific events?
I think it's really a mixed answer, because I don't try to talk to people about veganism. It just comes natural to me. Comes natural to me to bring up the thing. Now, there's a problem with that. And this is what many vegans struggle. It's like fit into society when you have this strong desire of the people around you not participating to the suffering on animals, that for you it's such a clear thing to do, or not doing, because veganism is not doing something. You're not participating to that. It's something less to do, actually. But yeah, it actually, so that's the thing, like in the beginning, especially there in Milan, there was such a big group, so it was cool, like we would do the events. The events were pretty often, and we would spend time together, after the events during the weekend. So we had social life between vegans, and I try, and as I do a lot of activism, here's the thing, like most of the time, having a conversation about veganism is some kind of a debate or an argument, right? So I realized that I need to save my energy, and I cannot make all of my social interactions a debate. So now I kind of tell myself that I am doing enough with all the activism that I do on my social media, and then I do at least one. Well, actually organize events. I founded an animal rights non-profit organization here in south of Spain, and I organize events similar to Anonymous for the Voiceless with the other projects. But yeah, because I do so much activism, I say, okay, I need to save my energy. I cannot always be bringing that up and having arguments, less debates with people. But surely, if it comes up, then I'm in. I don't ignore it. But like I definitely prefer to connect with someone. I need to bring these up, definitely. I cannot be friends with someone that's not vegan. I cannot have a girlfriend that's not vegan. So yeah, but now I'm finding balance, and I think everyone needs to find his own balance. My perfect balance would be like being surrounded by vegans all the time and do activism to make people vegan. That's my perfect environment. But that's not the case. It's not possible. So now I am more open than before to have conversation, like to have interaction with people that are not vegan, and kind of taking it more slow, even dating not vegan. But then, if I'm really interested in person, I would bring the topic in for sure.
I think it's a shame that there's so few celebrities or sportsmen who are vegan. It's great to have an athlete on this podcast who just says, I'm vegan for the animals,
Yeah, veganism is extreme, and therefore there's a lot of people, and I believe these vegan athletes as well, some of them they fear ruining their image because they're going to create a lot of polarization, bringing up this harsh topic. Another thing that the best way is kind of inspiring and going step by step, but that's a big bunch of bullshit. That's not how you do things, because the way what you're creating is a world of transition, or a world of 85% vegans. And you don't truly want that. You want 0% animal abuse. So if you want 0% animal abuse, then that's the message that you have to share. You need to be direct. Also, another wrong concept is that concept that everyone is going to go vegan, right? And that's also why I think there's this concept, okay, this person is going to be vegan for the health, so I'm going to talk about health and the environment, and the ethics don't go well. You're confusing the message, you're confusing things. I think the way I go about it is I am talking with someone that's going to be vegan if I talk to them. that's what I care about. I care about finding the vegans among people. I don't care about what's the best kind of way, because I think the best way is still being direct. Because when you say to people that they are doing something wrong, that they think they were doing right, they have an emotional response, and they're never going to have it if you're not direct. They're not going to have that. Whether they're going vegan or not, that emotional response, it's important to for them to understand that something is happening. Whether vegan exists or not, that vegans are idiots, or, oh man, I never thought about that.
I understand you completely. There's so many people, and it's all about trying to find the ones who have that sense of compassion within them to try and make a change. And with regards to the transition, this meatless Monday stuff, I don't think it's the way, because veganism is an ethical position. You cannot just be against rape 6 days of the week and then one day, it's okay, You're either against murder all the time or not, right?
Yeah, 100%, that's for sure. But, I think that's coming from kind of the confused message that's out there. But I do recognize that, like with a meatless Friday or vegan
Fridays,
or it's still part of the change. I'm not saying that, there's nothing wrong with someone going 90% vegan. Yes, there is the 10% of animal abuse that's wrong. What I'm saying is the world is going to change on his own pace. And I guess that's still to be appreciated. But being direct with the message is definitely also key. And as you said, I think if celebrities would understand this more, that there would probably be also a quicker movement towards this. I recall Billie Eilish. Is it how you pronounce Billie Eilish? There's an interview of her, and she's like, I'm not like all of these vegans out there that I'm going to tell you to be vegan. I just eat my vegan food and shut up. So what she's doing is probably the opposite. She's making vegan activists look like annoying. She actually doing worse job to the movement. So I don't know.
Another example, sportsman Novak Djokovic, he also says he's vegan, and he talks about ethics as well. And then his tennis strings in the tennis racket are made, I think, from gut, and there are synthetic options. If someone is an ethical vegan, you'll just go for the artificial strings, and he's still going for the gut. He talks a lot about nutrition. My allergies cleared up when I went vegan. It's also important for the animals. But I personally don't think he's completely in for the animals if his tennis strings are made from gut.
Yeah, definitely not, because at that level someone would tell you that. I don't know. Yeah. You would know, I guess. I didn't know, for example. It's a new thing.
It's a big tennis fan. You said the transition for some people might be a bit tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes. People would do, and the world would go with its own pace, as long that we don't dilute the message, and we also don't say that it's okay to be vegan only plant-based once per week. We don't have to say it's okay. It's wrong. It's your choice if you want to do like that. You can go vegan today if you want, because it's possible, just like you do it on Friday. But we don't. Unfortunately, we cannot force people to go vegan.
In your lifetime, Stefano, what is your gut feeling? In 50 years, 60 years, will the world be vegan?
No, honestly, I don't think so. No. For a different reason. First of all, if we see that in environmental perspective, as we said before, you don't have to be vegan. You can still have some percentage animal products. So there is that. Health-wise, it's the same. You don't have to be vegan. You can massively reduce animal products and get all the benefits, and physical activity also is a big part of your health. So it's not being vegan. There's no reason why promoting going vegan for health or environment. And when it comes from the ethics, this is where the big question comes in, because that's something that I've been asking myself, after I started doing activism. When I started doing activism, okay, so people never seen this footage of animals being tortured like they are the worst animals, but they all say they love animals. So I just need to help them make the connection that I did. And then I soon found out that it wasn't that easy, and most people would be upset because they don't want to change their habits. They're too weak to go against what people around them say and society. So they're weak to take a different position. They lack empathy. Sometimes it's simply not irrational, coherent. So I don't know. I think the root of human is a bit evil, right? So I don't know if good people will rise up, because naturally humans went into the evil thing, right? They decided to conquer things and kill everyone and enslave people and kill all the Jews. So, and to this day we see like some horrible, they see slavery, in Thailand fishing boats. That's something that I saw in a Seaspiracy documentary, and that's very bad. That's very bad. So, and I also don't know if like good people are strong enough to fight and actually take the position, because as we were saying before, like the good people that have made the connection, they hold back. They don't scream for the animals. A lot of people, they hold back. They're good people, but they hold back. I don't know, because I think the transition thing, or you have to, like for example, I was talking about this has happened often in my conversations, because I always, whether it's to enter my vegan Facebook group or to join my coaching program, they have to be vegan. Why? Because I want to have a conversation about animal rights first if they're not vegan. And so we have the conversation with this guy where he said, in this social life, he's not vegan. And I told him that if he agrees that animal products consequence is animal suffering and, happen this and this and that, then not only when you're there, you are eating that disgusting product, but you're also still promoting animal cruelty to the people that are around you, because you accept animals as products. You cannot convince people that vegan is the way to go while eating animal products, right? So, and he got upset with me saying, I cannot convince people to go vegan. But I told him, I'm not telling you to convince people. I'm telling you to be vegan yourself first, because if you think animal products are wrong, then why you consume them? So there is a line of selfishness or just weakness in taking position, one of the two. And I know there is a lot of it in the world, because I've been selfish. I'm still am in some areas, but I've seen myself becoming like better and better, with the time, especially going vegan. Going vegan made me a lot more humble, even though sometimes people don't see that, just because I'm direct and I filter bullshit out, and I just go with it straight through, but truth. But yeah, I did become much more less selfish, let's say. Yeah. Does that answer the question? That makes sense.
Yes, you did. I think I'm selfish as well. I think we all have an element, but going vegan is the least you can do. And back to the craziness in the human nature that you said, there's the German philosopher Eckhart Tolle. He said that if aliens were looking at us, they'll say these people are crazy. They are just killing each other, making wars, doing slavery, raping, and let's hope for good people we can make a difference.
There's still slavery happening in some countries, So that's the thing.
Yeah.
So imagine the process of the world becoming vegan and people becoming aware that animals are here with us and not for us. That's a it's difficult concept, Very difficult.
Yeah,
it's easy, point. But seems to be difficult.
I'm not going to make you tell us all your secrets today, but with regards to nutrition, what are your top 3 nutrition tips for vegans?
Vegans in general, or we want to talk about like vegans that want to build muscle?
Vegan calisthenics athletes.
Yeah, so someone that wants to be fit and build muscle, perhaps, like kind of someone that maybe is somewhat a beginner. So my first advice is, especially if you want to build muscle, kind of forget a little bit about nutrition, because I see a lot of people getting lost in nutrition and looking for magic pills and protein recipes and eating the protein shake after workout or having protein in general as the reason why you would build muscle. And meanwhile, they're not able to do pull-ups, right? So if that's the case, understand that. And I like to take myself as an example. I do pull-ups with 40 kilograms on my waist for reps. Not 1 nor 2 nor 3 nor 4. I do 5 reps for 3 sets. Okay, so what I'm saying is that's the reason I built muscle. It's not because I eat in a certain way. So now it's important. It's also important to eat in a certain way. So actually, that's my first nutritional advice to build muscle. Don't get lost in nutrition. Or better, don't use nutrition as an excuse for your lack of consistency with your workout. So that's my first nutritional advice. The second advice is about protein. So I'm going to tell you what you want to achieve with protein. So a healthy individual is going to need 0.8 gram of protein per kilogram body weight, because in strength training, you're going to eat soft tissues much more than normal person, general population that doesn't train. Is suggested 1.2 to 1.6. Okay. Now, this 1.2 to 1.6 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight also doesn't want to be overlooked. Sure, you can have, you can push to have the 1.6, but the same way that there are other factors that are going to make you achieve your fitness goals. So don't think that by eating 1.2 or 1.3 or 1.4 is not going to get you to build muscle. Okay, so stay in that range and you are going to be fine. And so the second point is eat enough protein, but don't overstress about eating too much protein because it's not needed. And the third point is prioritize health. I do with my clients. We do basically 6 days per week, whole food, and 1 day per week you have a cheat day when you can eat a bit more processed food. Now, can you have a bit of processed food here and there during the week? Yes, but overall, prioritize fruit. Make sure you eat fruits, vegetables, dark greeny leaf, seeds, nuts, and did I say legumes? Legumes. And so, absolutely. So, third thing about nutrition is, prioritize whole foods.
To build muscle between 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight without getting too stressed about it. Just aim in that range and then get the stimulus through the weights and through the body weight training.
What the study say is, so 1.2 is enough Then there is some benefits in the protein synthesis when you go up to 1.6. But is there study which study like people like me in a 5-10 years period? One is eating 1.2, the other is eating 1.6, and we see how much more muscle we're going to build? I think that is going to be a very little difference, if no difference, So that's my point there, because I personally never overstressed about it. So, and I'm doing pretty well. So yeah, and also the other thing is, because if you're coming from an omnivore knowledge of the bodybuilding culture, you probably heard many times 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram. That's actually nonsense, because the major studies say that after that 1.6, benefits are not even happening. You don't actually need. There's nothing is happening with it hitting that higher amount of protein. So yeah, definitely not overstress about it, because then if you overstress about it, but you need to also think about health. That's important. And the way you optimize your health is eating more vitamins, minerals, fibers, and that's coming from fruit and vegetables.
And do you have any protein powders throughout the day?
No. You can get all the protein you need. I mean, I'm not against protein powder, but I personally prefer to eat more food rather than have a shake.
I love one of your recipes on Instagram where you do a 1-pot pan with rice, water.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great recipe.
Okay, this is how I cook 90% of the time. Put a pan on the fire, turn on the fire, add into the pan your protein. Today I'm going for chickpeas, then you're going to add your grain. Today I'm eating rice, and then 2 to 3 parts of water compared to the portion of grain that you added. And then it's time for our veggie, broccoli, cauliflower, and carrot for this time. Add the salt and the spices you want. I choose curry, that's probably a bit too much curry today. Give it a stir, okay, so everything gets mixed up together nicely. Cover it up and let it cook for 10 to 15 minutes. Very simple. It's time to eat. I'm going to add some nutritional yeast and hemp seeds. Let's give it a try. That's hot. Simple, easy.
How long does it take to build the muscle?
It takes time. Like if your goal is really building muscles, it's going to be a lifetime commitment. It's the only way to actually become huge, or let's say maximize your potentials there. There's no other way. But the cool thing is that I feel like with my clients, because I had over 200 vegan men passing through my coaching program, and I have somewhat a small study there, right, on what's happening, because we take measurements. The way we measure, so maybe people that wants to know, how do I know how much muscle they build? We take the average weight over 5 days, and then with a caliper, we measure the abdominal fat. Now, usually the caliper is used to measure abdominal fat in different points, and then you put it into a calculator, and that gives you the body fat percentage. But I found out that, especially for men, the fat that you have on your belly is pretty similar to your body fat percentage in general. And it doesn't add extra mistake. What I mean with that, imagine you need to measure like 3 points. You can make mistake here, mistake there. Instead, this way we minimize the amount of tolerance kind of that we have. But anyway, with that said, what I've seen in my 2 years, having these 200 clients building muscle, I've seen that in a period of 6 months, they build an average 3 kilograms of lean muscles. And the clients that have been with me for longer than that, in 1 year, they would build around 5 kilograms of muscles. And that's a realistic goal for, well, 5 kilograms is actually like you have pretty good genetics. Maybe not pretty good, but good genetics, because those are important too. I had, for example, a client of mine is built 1 kilogram in 1 year, like genetic make, and he's doing good. Like it's not like someone that doesn't follow guidelines in the program. He does, but he has a harder time in getting stronger and building muscle in general. But yeah, I know there is some fitness coaches out there that are kind of saying that you can build a ridiculous amount of muscle in little time, but that's not possible.
Do you ever get variance in the abdominal fat, or does the abdominal fat normally stay constant?
Well, the goal is keeping it the same. Yeah, that comes down to the calories that you're eating. Okay, so being at maintenance calories is the key to stay lean and build muscle. Maybe a slight deficit. Beginners can easily lose fat and build muscle at the same time as well.
Lots of vegan posts on social media, they get lots of trolls, so anti-vegan trolls commenting, doing mental gymnastics. Do your posts ever get trolls, and what are your tips for dealing with trolls?
Well, in the comments, it's very difficult to go in the comments. I don't get lost in the comments too much because it's a very weird way of communicating. But in general, like with trolls, and honestly, I never imagined that the person I'm talking with is doing it just because it's trying to troll me. That's something that I never think. Some of my followers, when I screenshot some conversation, they do say, you shouldn't even talk with this guy. But I try to be direct, like if I just want to cut the conversation and these people is trying to go deeper and deeper in some stupid argument like plants feel pain, and therefore we vegan are hypocrites because we are also making suffering another being. I tell them straight that they're out of their mind and they're stupid and they should buy a brain. That's usually what I do. And even though it might sound, you're being rude and you're not trying to make people understand, but if there is one thing I want you to understand, is that you have to use your brain better. I'm not stupid, and I know that if you would be on the street and there is a dog and someone is beating the dog and the person that's beating the dog tells you that you are cruel to plants, therefore leave me beat the dog, that wouldn't happen, right? It just wouldn't happen. So yeah, I think that also, like, whether they're troll or they believe in their stupid arguments, I know that they do that just because I'm vegan or we are vegan. That's why they come up with these things, because we are different. So they kind of protecting their way of thinking, and because they're weird, they can have this weird argument that don't make sense. But yeah, that's my approach to trolls, like being direct in trying to make them understand that what they're saying is stupid. Like, are you really that stupid, or what's going on here?
There's a difference to cutting a carrot to an animal. It's weird though, because some of the spiritual leaders, like Sadhguru, he comes up with these arguments as well. Thanks a lot for joining today, Stefano. It was great to hear about your motivation for defending animals whilst being an inspirational calisthenics athlete. So people can find you on Facebook through your Cali Vegans program, right? And also Instagram. Are those the main ones?
Yeah. Got Stefano Vegan Calisthenics in Instagram and TikTok, and my Facebook group, which is in the bio of my Instagram, is the Cali Vegan Method, building muscle for vegan men. That's how it's called. And thanks for having me, Patrick. And one that's listening, thank you.
Thanks a lot for tuning in. You can support Foolproof Mastery in a number of ways. First of all, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave a review on Apple Podcasts with an honest opinion of what you think. Leave plenty of comments on YouTube and share with your friends, family and colleagues if you feel that you have learned something new in order to keep on getting the knowledge out to as many people as possible. Finally, keep on living every day to the maximum and see you next time for another episode. Ciao.